Good morning and welcome to our webinar called Advance Your English. So what we're going to do today is look at some points of English. Now these are all A2, B1 points, so that's pre-intermediate to intermediate level of English. And we're looking at certain things that often cause confusion. So we'll look at the rules and what we do, and then we have some examples of each. Now, this is a bit of an interactive session. So when we come particularly to the examples, I'd like you all to join in, please. Now, you can do that by either speaking directly. We haven't got too many of you today. Or you can do it by your chat box on Zoom. So you can just give me your answer, and then we can have a look at how well we've all done. Okay, so that's the premise of what we intend to do today. We'll try and get through 4 or 5 points if we can, depending on the time. And feel free to ask any questions that you want at any time. It doesn't matter. You can interrupt me and you can ask a question if there's something that's not clear or there's something else you would like to ask. Okay, so firstly, let me welcome you to Red Fox Education. And as you probably know, we're an online British school. And we provide both online lessons to individuals, to groups, to schools, to colleges. And we also provide our mobile app so that you can learn at any time, at any place that's convenient to you. We have an absolute mountain of material on the application. And if you subscribe to our premium content, then you get some fantastically good courses that will definitely improve your English. You'd have to pay for that, but it's relatively cheap and you get lots of great stuff on our mobile app. Okay, let me share my screen with you and we'll look at the material for today. So, we're going to start with a particular point. Now, the first one we've got is all or all of. So this can be quite a confusing point. So when would we say all, or when would we say all of something? Well, the answer is this. We use all, as it says here, when we are talking about 3 or more things. And also, sometimes they're the same, but sometimes where we've got all and we're using that with a plural or uncountable noun, if that follows. Now, if we have a determinator before the noun, well, you can have a choice. We can use all or we can use all of. So this would be the structure. All plus of, and of is optional, plus the determinator, plus plural or uncountable noun. Now, when we have a pronoun, this time we need of. There is no choice. We must use of. So this time it would be all of plus the pronoun. Okay, so we got that. So those are our rules. Now then, we have some examples. This is the interactive bit. So I'd like you to give your answers, please. Now, as I say, you can either come online and speak your answers personally, or you can just pop them in the chat box if you want. So number 1, she ate the cookies. Do we put all of, or can we put both? So in the chat box, if you're doing that, please write all of, or both. Okay, can we all do that, please? Don't be shy. There we are. We have one response. Okay, not an answer. Okay, anybody else? Come on, give me an answer. All of, or both. If you don't want the others to see your answer, you can just write it to Red Fox Education. Okay. Okay, it seems no one's going to give me an answer. Okay, so she ate the cookies. So here we have a plural noun here. Okay, so we would say she ate all the cookies. Yeah. Now, what about this one? People need kindness. Can you give me an answer to this one too? Anyone? All you have to do is write in your chat box. That's it. Okay, our answer for this one is also all people need kindness. Right, now here we've got 3 and 4. We have two quite similar sentences. They took my money, or I don't have any money, they spent it. What do we think our answers are here? Whoa. So Bharat, is that all for number 3? Number 3 would be, now number 3 you would have, okay, all of, very good. Anybody else? We're starting to get some answers now, that's good. Right, so for number 3, you could put either they took all my money or they took all of my money. Because here we've got my, which is the determinator. So we can put all of, or we can put all. But in number 4, we follow the space with a pronoun. So this must be they spent all of it. Okay, so hopefully we now know which of the structures that we need when we encounter this issue. Right, let's move on to another point. Our next one is for or since with present perfect continuous. Now, excuse me. Present perfect continuous has a number of different uses. The most common one is to talk about things that started in the past and continue today. So, and we sort of put a time on this. How long does that happen? So if we follow the verb tense with for or since, these are both time markers. These are both indicators of the time expression. And this can be quite confusing as well. This is sort of B1 grammar point. Where we have a period of time, we put for before that. And we use since with a point in time. Okay, so here's our structure for present perfect continuous. So we have the subject plus have or has, depending on whether it's first, second, third person, plural, singular, plus been plus the past participle, which, as we probably know, is verb 3. And then if we add that with for, we then need a period of time, or alternatively since a point in time. Okay, so again, chat box, put full or since, for or since. He's been living in London. What are we going to say here? Okay, he's been living in London since 2012 is the right answer. So this is a point in time, not a period of time. What about number 2? Do you want to give me the answer for number 2? You got the first one right. So is 20 years a point in time, or is that be a period of time? Anyone? This would be for 20 years. It's a period of time. When we have 20 years, or we have 10 hours or something like that, this is a point in time. Okay, sorry, this is a period of time. Now, I've known her for my college days, or I've known her since my college days. What do we think about that one? Okay, I've got someone tell me since, which is the right answer. Yeah, correct. You're both correct. Yeah. So I've known her since my college days. This is the point in time. This speaker here is saying from that point when I was at college. And a few weeks, he's only worked here since a few weeks, or he's only worked here for a few weeks. Okay, we have one answer so far. Go to the second answer. Okay, you're correct with four. For a few weeks. Again, this is a period of time. Usually if we have a plural on days, weeks, hours, months, years, this is going to be a period in time. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about our mobile application. This is what you need to look for on the Play Store or the App Store. So this is the one you need to download. Right, let's move on to our next point, which is articles. Again, for second language student, articles can be very difficult, particularly for some Asian languages, Southeast Asian languages particularly, which don't have articles that feature in their native language. So for geographical features, for different places, types of places around the world that are geographical features, we either put the before it or we have no article. So I've just got some examples. Now, this is not the full list. It's just some samples of the sort of things that we would, the things that we mean by geographical features. So this time, put either the or no. If you let's shorten this down. Just let's put 0. So the or 0. And so, do we put the or no article, 0 article before rivers? So would it simply be I went to Amazon River, or would it be I went to the Amazon? I sailed down River Danube, or I sailed down the River Danube? What would be the answer for rivers, do you think? Do we put the before or not? So simply put the or 0, or just a big O if you want. Anyone give me an answer? Okay, we're not going to get one here. Okay, this one is the. Before rivers, we put the Amazon, the River Danube, the Ganges, the River Thames. So all of these put that before it. Right, what about moving on to cities? So we've got some examples here of Chennai or London. Do we put the before cities when we're speaking or writing about particular cities, when we're naming the city? Do we need the before it or not? So put the or put 0? Someone like to suggest an answer, please? Again, not going any hand. No one's brave enough to give me an answer for this one. Okay, we do not have an article before city names. Okay, so we would simply say I live in London, or I visited Chennai. So something like that, yeah. All right, mountains. Now this means an individual mountain, a particular mountain, like Everest or the White Mountain here, Mont Blanc in France. So do we put the before the mountain, or do we leave it blank? Do we have no article? So I watched a documentary about Everest, or I watched a documentary about the Everest. What would that be? Anyone like to volunteer? The or no article? Okay, we do not put an article before individual mountains, particular mountains. So simply Everest or Mont Blanc or Kilimanjaro. Now let's move down to the bottom one, just because it's also on mountains. Now this time we're looking at ranges of mountains, like the Rockies or Himalayas, Alps, Andes. And this time we would put an article. We need the Rocky Mountains, the Himalayas. So mountains and mountain ranges are treated differently. And the same with islands, individual islands, like Phuket of Thailand or Mallorca in the Mediterranean, do not have an article, but groups of islands, like the Maldives, do have an article. Okay, so here are our, there's a lot more here as well. Countries does not have an article. Oceans and seas does. We need the Mediterranean Sea and the Sahara Desert, also the here, but no article before the names of lakes. And for our examples, we have here Paris. So this would be Paris is the capital city of France. We need the here because this is not talking about the name of a city. It's saying that Paris is the capital city of France and there's only one. And as you probably know, we put the if there is only one. No articles here at all. Japan and Asia. These are countries and continents, no articles. But here we need the Sahara Desert because deserts have the before it. And similarly here, the largest desert in the world. Okay. Probably our final point, probably this last one we've got time for. Our final point is permanent and temporary situations and whether we need present simple or present continuous. And here are our rules here. We need present simple for permanent situations, but we use present continuous for temporary situations. So we need to fit the verbs in the examples, and we're looking at the verb in the brackets at the end. So what would we put here? Do you want to try and write that in for me in either present simple or present continuous using work? And try and volunteer an answer for me there. How would we write the verb here? To work out, is this a permanent situation or is this a temporary situation? So which verb tense would I need? And therefore, how do I write the verb? Do you know? Okay, well, this is clearly a permanent situation. That is whoever he is, that is his job. So that's a permanent situation. So we need present simple. It's third person singular. So he works as, with an S on the end, works as a lab technician. Now let's contrast this one. She, then the verb here again work, at the lab for the summer holidays. So when we see these words, this is now a temporary situation. It's just for the summer holidays. It's not permanent. So even though this might be, 2-3 month period, it's still temporary. So here we would need to use present continuous and say she is working at the lab for the summer. Okay. And similarly with number 3, Sophie, with her and while she studies. Again, these words indicate that this is not a permanent situation. It's a temporary living situation where Sophie is staying with her aunt for that period. So again, we would need present continuous. Here, Sophie is living with her aunt while she studies at the university. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining. That's sort of all we've got time for today. And we've covered our main points. So keep watching for more webinars from Red Fox Education, from myself and from our other range of tutors. And I'm sure you'll find them very informative. And as I mentioned earlier, please do try our app and you'll get a lot of good stuff from there. All of the points that I've mentioned today are all included in various courses that we have. Thank you very much. Goodbye.